So welcome to another edition of Open for Business. I'm your host, Marjorie Young. Each year, the Lowcountry Down Syndrome Society hosts a Night of Champions. Awards are given to employers and employees who demonstrate every day the value of inclusive workspaces and hiring folks with different abilities. There was also a President's Award, and this year our guests, Will Howell, a Darien-based entrepreneur, and Kevin Sheehan will receive this award when the Lowcountry Down Syndrome Society holds its 11th annual Night of Champions later this year. All this and more as we welcome Open for Business. So welcome, everybody.
Hi.
Hey. I'm going to start with John and Whitney. Go ahead and tell us about what the Lowcountry Down Syndrome Society does.
Sure, thank you. I'm Whitney. I'm the executive director. Lowcountry Down Syndrome Society is a support group for people and families and caregivers that have been diagnosed and live with Down syndrome. We cover Chatham, Effingham, and surrounding counties. And we have been established since 2006, and we continue to grow every day. John?
And John is the board chair.
Yeah.
Marjorie, thank you so much for taking this time to allow us to get together to talk about this great event. You know, the Lowcountry Down Syndrome Society, we first started out as a family support group, and then little by little, we had different members come up with different ideas. We had a member that came up with Night of Champions. She had gone to one up in Wisconsin, actually, and started and developed the program here. And it's just become such a great vehicle for us that, you know, we can go and our goal is to have our, I said students, but our kids and our adults just become regular members of the community. Absolutely. And this is a great vehicle to get them in front of employers and to see what a great asset they are to the community.
This is, for folks not to this event, there's like 700 people that come. And unfortunately, we had to push it back this year because of COVID. But it's beautiful. Can you go over some of the past winners, the different businesses that won last year? And I guess that would be a question for Tom Capel, who's in charge of Night of Champions.
Yeah, well, that's great. I have this year's winners pulled up right in front of me.
Okay, well, are we allowed to announce this year's winner?
Maybe not. That's something that we talked about doing later on when we are able to reschedule this year's event. But if you give me just a moment, I'm sure that I have last year's readily available. Oh my gosh, yes. And in fact, all their posters are right behind me up there. We had Chris Holt. He was from he works at the Tybee Island YMCA. Chris Maynor from DIRT, Environmental Solutions. We had Eric Glassford from Effingham Health Systems. Megan Maley. Whitney, where's Megan? Where's Megan work, Whitney?
Bubba Gumbos on Tybee Island.
And we had Reginald Horton, who's been at the Savannah Bananas for a while.
Well, it is one of those nights that is it's so touching to watch. I mean, it is, a lot of people end up crying. I mean, it's such a beautiful, beautiful night.
We sure don't intend to make people cry, but when they see the impact, when they see I think that what's so moving is that when they see that somebody is given a chance and that they see what that chance means for that individual, not only for that individual, but for like everybody around them, the employer, the colleague, employees, just can't help but be moved by that.
So, Tom, we're going to officially announce the winners now. So why don't you go ahead and introduce Will and tell us a little bit about Will. Yay, Will.
Well, congratulations, Will and Kevin. You're the President's Award winners. I don't want to steal any of our, if I do this right, President's thunder. So John, you want to do those introductions, President of LDSS?
Well, Kevin Sheehan was actually one of our founding board members when we first started the group. Kevin, you were a board member for 8 years with us.
Yeah.
And he has been instrumental with the local AMBUCS in town. And then through Kevin, actually, I heard about Will, and Will is such a deserving president award winner as well. They actually kind of met up at a football game down in Brunswick, probably, how many years ago was that, Kevin?
4.5 in Darien.
Darien. And Kevin kind of tracked down Will's mom and dad and got a bike for him. And then Will has started his own company as of last November, and he's an entrepreneur, out there knocking it down with all the rest of the folks trying to work online and get products sold. So 2 very worthy winners, and I'm just so glad and excited that you are this year's President's Award.
Bravo, bravo. Will and Melanie, would you all like to talk about what this award means to you?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It means a lot.
Yeah.
It means a lot. The award is, I guess as you were saying, it just means so much in that we think of all the small struggles, medical struggles along, and now to see him thriving and so excited as he meets customers and new people, and we kind of joked and said all the ties and all the ins and outs of everything. Riding that bicycle to the post office is really his favorite part of the whole process.
So you actually, if I wanted to order a tie, I could go to your website and purchase a tie, and part of the proceeds go to Lowcountry Down Syndrome Society, right?
Go to AMBUCS.
Oh, go to AMBUCS. Okay, I go to AMBUCS. That's the connection with you and Kevin. That is awesome. That's.
We knew we wanted to give back in some way, and we toyed with different agencies. Will was one time featured through Baptist Children's Hospital, through Miracle Network, Children's Miracle Network, and we thought about that, but then we realized that bike from AMBUCS has made such a significant difference for him, and we thought, wouldn't it be great if somehow we could help other kids experience the same thing?
That's wonderful. And Kevin, congratulations to you too. You want to also talk about your connection with Will?
Yeah, it's really exciting, and I've got something to tell Will that he doesn't know yet. We were about to ship out our first bike to a young man in Atlanta due to the proceeds from WillPower Ties.
Wow. Awesome.
We're going to get some pictures, and this is a young man that's been on our wish list. We have a wish list for children and adults that are not in our area or not in the area of a chapter, and this young man happens to be just south of Atlanta in Jonesboro, and he's a year and a half. He's 13 years old, and his family, I've been in touch with his family, and they're very, very excited. And we're hoping to ship that out in the next couple of weeks out of our warehouse over in South Carolina. And on top of that, probably later this summer, we're going to do a bike giveaway, and one of those bikes will come from the proceeds. And we'll have Will come to Savannah with his family so that he can actually see that. So we're excited. But yeah, it was kind of crazy. I'm a Benedictine military school alumnus, and I was at a football game down in Darien at McIntosh Academy. And I was walking in, and there are 2 ways in. And before I sat down, I said, I want to go to the stand. Well, I saw Will and his parents, and then I saw Will behind him about 10 or so feet and he was having some difficulty walking. Well, I walked up and introduced myself to his family, and talked about who I was, what AMBUCS was, and did Will ride a bike. And Mom may not remember this. She probably does. Mom couldn't talk to me. Dad had to talk. Mom was too emotional that somebody that they had never met made an effort to help her son. And Will got a bike. That was like October the 30th. And by June, and he got his bike on January the 16th. And he's been wearing the wheels off it ever since. and we stayed friends. We actually, his mother teaches at Frederica Academy. And I know some people whose children she taught. There's a connection in a lot of ways. But and we reconnected over this when they contacted me and said, "Would you have a problem if we donated a certain portion of the proceeds to AMBUCS?" And I was quite touched that they were willing to do that. And I had the opportunity to go down and visit with Will right before Christmas. And I have some WillPower Ties.
Yeah. Order one. What is the website to order the WillPower Ties?
WillPowerTies.com.
Awesome. Awesome. What a great cause. And that is fabulous. So let me ask you, what is the next step with Night of Champions? What do we know about rescheduling? As much as we must know.
Right. We know that we are waiting to reschedule. There are just so many issues around rescheduling an event like that. So it's something we've got to figure out with our venue and with the Lowcountry Down Syndrome Society. Maybe now is the time to begin that conversation, but I suspect that we just don't know.
Well, none of us. As soon as we have information, we'll definitely post it all over our social media, Facebook, Instagram, send out emails. We will notify as soon as we have something.
Yeah, we'll get it out there. Speaking of that, our sponsors, the sponsors that we had collected up until we decided to postpone the event, have been great about sharing the word, especially Bill and Mark Granger from Granger Honda Nissan. They created these videos of themselves pointing out how impactful the event is. That's the kind of thing that I think would be just great. And when we do reschedule, is to have everybody make that sort of video posted online. Anyway, so speaking of sponsors, anybody that wants to be involved in the rescheduling of Night of Champions, or in the rescheduled Night of Champions, sponsorships are still available. That's at nightofchampions.org. And reach out to LDSS anytime.
Absolutely. I mean, it's last year where you had 700 people or 600?
Last year we had around 650. The year before that it was over 700. Wow. I think last year there were other scheduling conflicts. I was really looking forward to this year. We had found, I think, a perfect window.
Mother Nature had other plans.
Right.
Absolutely. Okay, so I want to congratulate Bill and Kevin for job well done for the President's Award. It's really wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
And as soon as we know when Night of Champions is going to happen, you'll get the word out. And I want to thank you all for spending time on Open for Business and talking about the importance of hiring folks with different abilities and these wonderful awards. So
thanks for having us, Marjorie.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Congratulations, Kevin and Will.
Yeah.